The top 4 now announced in this tournament. 2 Emus. The Emus have been taking names in this tournament, chat. We watched one of them win earlier in this tournament. 1 ace left and 1 green Zoro. Listen, if you're itching for a brand new playmat, now is the time to check out Nen Garden, the sponsor of this video. Not only do they have brand new pre-orders up on their website for Chaos Crew, Green Fury, and the Absolute Ruler designs, which by the way, are phenomenal. But if you're a fan of Goldie Roger, Nen Garden actually put out a new playmat called the Journey's End, showcasing Goldie Roger himself, and you yourself can find his one piece with the possibility of a 1 in 20 chance to get the special wanted playmat. And on top of that, if you're like me and you absolutely prefer cloth mats, Nen Garden has officially posted on their site cloth mats for Green Fury, Absolute Ruler, Berserk, and Journey's End. Plus, if you want a ton of other great accessories that aren't just playmats, they've got the King of Hearts t-shirt, matching pin, other pins alongside of it through the whole cake island, and even stickers. Make sure with whatever you want in Nen Garden, use my code Atrocious for 8% off. The link to their website is in the description below. Thank you so much for Nen Garden for sponsoring the video, and let's get back to that video. All right, chat, we're going to be watching the Green Zoro. Green Zoro with that activate main once per turn, Dawn ×3. If you battled a character within the turn, you can restand your leader. You just can't swing at 7 costs or less for the rest of the turn. Definitely very, very good, especially in OP12. A little bit worse in OP13, I think, but still one of the top 3 decks within this format. Still a very, very strong contender. And it's going to be curious to see how it fares up against Imu, right? We watched Imu in the last game. Very interesting game against the ace. Not the same player, right? A different player piloting Imu, one of our 2 left in this top 4, but definitely couldn't have just gotten lucky to get into a top 4 in my opinion. Definitely great players within their own right. Looks like Imu is going first in this game. The Imu, having this hand, has a 2K in there, as well as the Searcher, the 10 cost, and a little bit of 5 Elders. The Zoro has a couple different Kuinas, so Kuinas much more of a mainstay within the deck. Also has Scratchman, a Poo, also a Kozaburo 2K, and a Koshiro 2-cost blocker. And so now Imu going first in this one does have that 1-drop Searcher event that he could play, but I think is thinking about using leader effect first because you'd much rather play maybe Shalria at this point. Ends up finding a Saturn, which is a nice grab right off of that draw. And now the search going in finds a 2K and another Saturn. So is going to go with the Saturn to be able to just get turn after turn after turn. That search passes off to Zoro. Zoro now going to Dawn. Does find a 0-cost event, but just plays a Koshiro and passes, right? Gets that nice blocker off the field to protect the slash characters in the future from something like Marcus Mars. The Imu now at 3 Dawn doesn't really have a 3 Dawn play, but is going to go ahead and use leader effect first, more than likely to be able to potentially find something else to play on the turn, but we could just see a big swing at face. And so now the Imu drawing a Marcus Mars, again, doesn't really have anything, but if he wants to starve the Zoro, will just pass off the turn. And it looks like he does exactly just that, going in that starve method that you want to do as Zoro, as Imu now goes to 4. So with the 4 Dawn, does find a Tashigi off the top. Can't play it this turn, but could be beneficial for when that Saturn comes in the next turn. And so could do a couple things. You could honestly just like play Kuina, leave it there, not use the activate main, and just swing like 5 at lead. That could maybe be something you could do just to be able to set up the amount of different options that you can utilize to rest, especially on the 4 costs. But is thinking about attaching 3 to lead just to be able to get a big swing at lead. Is thinking about attaching all 4 and going ahead at 9. Imu taking this and going down to 3. Is going to get a 5 Elders are here event to be able to get another search. There's another Saturn right there in the hands, but is going to grab the 2K this time around, get the War Curie in the trash. I think 3 of the Elders now in the trash. for the Imu player and passes off to their 5 Dawn turn. Now can start using the empty throne stage to be able to get some cycling going, right? Get some bodies on the field, and is more than likely going to get this Saturn for the 3 on the empty throne stage. So is going to do exactly that. The Saturn going in, looking at the top 5. Going to find a Celestial Dragon type card. Is thinking about another Warcury or a Marcus Mars. I've already got both of those in the hand. I think the only one that you're looking for is Jupiter at this point to be able to get the combo off outside of the 10 cost. Ends up going with Marcus Mars. Oh no, has a Jupiter in hand, my apologies. And so uses the leader effect to get the Saturn in the trash. This way, if they want to play Toshigi down, right, that Peach Momoko, beautiful, beautiful card in my opinion, Toshigi, it's not going to be able to rest anything. You'll still get the 3 Dawn onto your leader, but it's basically almost like a wasted on play effect in a sense. I think I see a fair amount of Doflamingos play the 0 cost event, or I'm sorry, enough Zoros play the 0 cost event. And so Zoro now is going to play Toshigi for that 6 Dawn turn, like I was mentioning. Get that 3 Dawn on the leader. One more for another 9k swing at lead. Is going to try to see if he can get in event, right? Especially with 9 being such a good number, right? Equilibrium, only 3,000 power. Originally it wasn't there. 4,000 power, would have to command multiple cards out of the hand from the Imu to be able to get out of the swing. So going down to 2. Imu now having a couple different options if he wants to go ahead and utilize the Marcus Mars, right? Only going to be able to either pop the Koshiro or make that Koshiro be rested to save the Toshigi. So goes ahead and pitches one off of the leader effect and now resting the 3 for the empty throne. Is going to go ahead, I think, and play another Marcus Mars. So the Marcus Mars is going to force that Koshiro to get off of the field, right? Pitching that Warcury, and now sets him up in the next turn. If there's no protection effect, right, from another 2-drop Koshiro, is going to be able maybe to get another turn with that other Marcus Mars in the hand to get the Toshigi off the field, right? Removing the 5 cost, original 5 costs or less to minimize the amount of swings. So ends up getting a 1-drop Hiyori off the top of the deck. Might be nice to be able to get like another Toshigi off the field, right? Toshigi would be able to rest this Marcus Mars, but Toshigi now going on that swing is going to get a block. The Hiyori going in with the search, going to look at that top 5, another Toshigi or Law. Actually, Law might be a nice card to have, but does not have one of those 3 cost events in the hand, and so is eyeing that up as the potential option on the search, right, to be able to force the aggression into the Imu. Definitely one of the reasons why Zoro is so strong. Shuffling the hand for some reason. Maybe to mix up the hand a little bit. This is EB03 format, Durian. And so now is just going to attach everything onto lead and just try to get 1 life per turn or multiple cards in hand on these swings. So Imu is actually thinking about going down to 1 life already. From the first 3 swings, does not want to give up the cards, just building up the hand and passing off the turn. Kind of surprising that Imu hasn't gotten rid of anything yet at this point in terms of the cards in hand for these different swings. 3 Zoro leader swings, 3 life taken by the Imu. So now the Imu sitting at a 9 Dawn turn, cannot go with the 10-drop Elder, but could go in with a Marcus Mars and Saturn play if he wanted to. After clearing out this Hiyori, this would clear the field entirely of bodies. So the Marcus Mars pitching 1 card out of the hand is going to pitch the Saturn, actually, it looks like. An interesting spot. He has a ton of counter in hand. So ends up going with the Jupiter to get rid of the Toshigi. Now using leader effect to get rid of the Marcus Mars and draw 1 card, right? You saw the 3 cost event in the hand and passes off the turn. Does not play the Saturn. Is worried about an all-in from Zoro, right? It may be weird leaving all this Dawn open, but because you know the 3 cost event is in the Zoro's hand, right? You want to be able to get out of these swings, right? You don't want to go down on these aggressive swings. So has plenty of counter in hand with 2Ks and Shirahoshi and the Majo's Guard. You've also got the counter events. And it's just going to go ahead with the big swing right here. 7 Dawn attached for a 12,000 power swing with the threat of the 3-cost event. Still sitting at 5 life, by the way. So now the Imu, gotta think about how you want to counter out of this, right? Don't want to get rid of too many cards in hand. So with this 12, if you go in Equilibrium and it was originally never there, that's only 7,000 power to match the Imu. He's taking this life. He's going down to 0. And the 3-cost event going to restand another 12,000 power swing. He's got to counter out of this one. And it's going to be 2 events. 2, it was never there to go up to 13,000. And passes off the turn to the Imu. The Imu now drawing 1 card. It's going to be a nice 2K in Jupiter. That's pretty good. Thinking about maybe playing the 10-cost now on this turn. Does have all 5 elders in the trash. So is thinking about attaching 2 to lead and swinging 7,000 power. Could be 8,000 power depending on how many cards he has in trash. One thing I got to start doing in the Imu deck is I got to start counting how many cards are in trash. But playing that elder off of the empty throne and pitching the Mary Joie to be able to get the 5 elders out onto the field. 1 rush character, 2 blockers, and a nice search to be able to find a counter event or a 2K. Ends up finding another 10-cost elder. So maybe thinking, if I can get out of this turn, I'll be able to play another 10-drop elder. Maybe he's not worried about dying in this next turn, especially with the 2 blockers. Now with the 7,000 power swing at lead, with the nose Zoro, is going to go ahead, take that first life. Zoro now down to 4, is going to go ahead, swing another 7,000 power, I think, with leader. Well, if you think about it, the more he uses 9 sword style Demon Asura or Kuina, that is theoretically less Dawn attached to his leader, right? Because both are minusing the max amount of damage that Zoro can output. So I don't know if he gets owned. It definitely stinks, but it's not. It could be worse. So Zoro ends up taking that life yet again, going to 3. Imu thinking about using leader effect now to get rid of this Nazjuro, right? A body that Zoro could swing into. Ends up finding another. Originally it wasn't there, and with 4 Dawn open, yeah, I don't know if he's gonna die in this turn. So now Zoro got to be thinking about what he wants to play. I think was thinking about playing down the Kuina, right, to be able to rest the War Curie. Oh, was thinking about playing the Tashigi. The Tashigi would allow him to have another big body on the field, but because you have the 10 drop on the field, you can't protect the Tashigi. But Tashigi not having counter on it may just be more valuable than the Kuina. Or less valuable in the hand than Kuina. And so 3 Dawn going to Zoro. And so is just going to go ahead and attach everything to lead. And go ahead and swing. 8 Dawn attached is going to be 13,000. Is going to command 3 cards out of hand to be able to get out of these swings. No 3 Dawn for the 3-cost event. So I was thinking about going, originally it was never there, Equilibrium and a 2K to get up to 14,000 counter and back to Imu's turn. It's an interesting spot for Imu right now. He draws another Equilibrium event. So this man never running out of counter, it seems like. But with the 5 elders, is going to have to pitch 1 card in hand if he decides to play it yet again. Would be good to utilize Marcus Mars potentially and get the Tashigi off the field. But a 7,000 power swing, going to be taking that life. Using leader effect to draw 1 card. Is a Jupiter, another 2K. Just once again, stacking up the hand. So you got to imagine going to be swinging with all of these bodies as well. Here's a 7,000 from the Jupiter. Eventually, Zoro has to stop taking the life, right? He's got plenty of counter in hand with 2K, 1Ks from Peronas, Dracul Mihawks, Kuinas, Apus. The zero cost event, definitely an interesting spot in this game. Zoro going 9-0 in the Swiss rounds and obviously being undefeated through the bracket. Is going to go 2K, 1K. So there's the first swing countered out of the War Curie going in with 7. Definitely going to be playing that 10 cost on this turn. Goes once again in 2K, 1K in the Perona and Dracul Mihawk. And the Marcus Mars could be the final 7,000 power swing before the 10 drop. Is going to go ahead, take that life. Going to be a Kuina, going to be a 1K. So is thinking about kind of doing a repeat of the turn with the 10 Dawn, right? Attaching 2 onto Imu and swinging. But I think first wants to go ahead and play the 10 drop and do the 10 drop combo to see exactly what he's got in hand before using leader effect. So pitching the Saturn off for the 10 cost effect is going to play out all 5 of the elders, and with choosing the order, because they all happen simultaneously, is going to go ahead, search with Saturn first, maybe try to find a good card to be able to pitch off of the Marcus Mars to get the Tashigi off the field, and with that Marcus Mars is going to pitch it off of the Marcus Mars effect to get Tashigi off the field, like I said. How many times can I say Marcus Mars in one turn? Again, minimizing the amount of swings. Now the Najuro, right, because it has Rush, going to be the final 7K swing off of characters on this turn. Zoro taking that life, and Imu going to be playing it safe. I think Imu's kind of in a really good spot right now. Leaving plenty of Dawn open, has 2 blockers, right? Restand events you do have to think about, but it has so much counter in hand. The hand is literally either a counter event or a 2K. So now swinging 7,000 power at lead is going to be a 2K, 1K out of that. The 7,000, 1 from the Dawn, and 1 more 1,000 from the Empty Throne event. 19 or more cards in trash gains plus 1,000 power. So ends up grabbing the 1 for turn. Ends up playing Kuina. Kuina being able to rest this War Curie is going to get 3 Dawn onto the Zoro. But Zoro still's got to think about potentially a restand event. Is going to attach more Dawn, leave 3 open. That's 6 in total. Only an 11,000 power swing he's got to get out of. That's an Equilibrium and a originally never there event. The next swing off of the Luffy will be king of the pirates is Equilibrium and 2 2Ks, passing off the turn. And now going into Imu. Imu looks like going to be winning this match. Is going to go ahead and swing with the War Curie to be able to hit for game. And Imu is going to be making it into the finals. The Marcus Mars being huge in that game, as Ben is saying in the live chat right now. The Tashigi not staying on the field was big in this one, right? Being able not only to get rid of the 2-cost Koshiro there at the beginning, but then in the next turn to get rid of the Tashigi and then get rid of Tashigi again, ended up mattering so much in that game. Definitely an excellent one, especially if you're having trouble as an Imu player navigating the Zoro matchup, right? Even though this is EB03 format, you could probably take a lot of things from that game and implement it into OP13. For the YouTube video, for the live stream chat, I will still be live for the finals, so don't go anywhere. But for the YouTube video that gets posted after the live stream, make sure to go check out our channel to see the finals. We'll see you later.